Afternoon, everyone. Lots to discuss when it comes to the weather. It's a pretty nasty afternoon, a little mix of snow and ice, and we've got bigger game to chase after Sunday night into Monday. I'm Eric Fisher alongside Terry Eliasen, our executive weather producer and director here.
Yeah, suddenly this afternoon and this evening has become a lot less interesting. Not that it was all that
not interesting in the first place, but definitely much less interesting now.
Lots of updates and changes to the forecast for a nor'easter coming later this weekend. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, this could be the big exclamation point on our very busy winter here. Let's just start with where we are tonight. We've had a burst of snow, the initial snowfall moving in, and now a sleety mix is starting to chase it. Just had probably the best snow that we'll have the whole event in Boston come through, but not accumulating a ton. Where it's a little bit colder, higher terrain, interior spots, this is where we do have some slippery roads out there this evening, so use some caution, and it'll hold on the longest here in northern Massachusetts and New Hampshire. That's where the bigger amounts will be. Those yellow speckles there, that's where the sleet has been mixing in around the Mass Pike, southeastern Mass, and then just rain south of there toward the south coast and the Cape. And that mixed line will move a little farther north this evening. Things will generally taper off in intensity. The heaviest precipitation for the event is what we just had that came through this afternoon and still continuing around Essex County. But we'll see things taper to more of an icy mix during the overnight.
Yeah, I think some folks heading out now and they see some of the roads are a little bit white and they're wondering, oh boy, here we go. Well, not really. This is pretty much about as bad as it's going to get for now. It's going to be spotty for the next several hours. We may get a little bit of snow later, but it's kind of fits and starts for the rest of the night, essentially.
Yeah, so here's a general idea here. The snow again holds on in northern Massachusetts and New Hampshire, which is where it's a little colder too and where we'll see the most accumulation. Overnight, we'll see things turning back to all snow for everybody with a little bit of additional accumulation there and some snow showers lingering into tomorrow. It'll be a chilly start to the weekend. A lot of clouds and low 30s, but don't expect any major accumulation. The best chance of 3+ is still in the towns right near the New Hampshire border and then north from there. And again, mostly minor. I think most will probably get a coating to an inch or two in that 1 to 3 inch band.
Yeah, I would say plowable. Where is the plowable line there? I mean, I'm not sure Boston's necessarily plowable.
Plowable might be somewhere around Woburn and west from there, I would say.
Northwest of I-95, 128, up that way, yeah.
Yeah, and then farther to the south, it's just kind of some icy mix this afternoon and watching out for slick areas overnight. And then the weekend, not a lot of melting going on here, just some low to mid 30s for Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday night is when we're watching that next much bigger storm.
Yeah, and then here it comes. Essentially, the track of this storm is coming much closer to what we call a benchmark storm here, and that's really the main reason for why we're upping everything, wind, snow. So here it comes riding up the East Coast. This is later Sunday night. I think we get into maybe some light snow Sunday night. It's really after midnight Sunday that the true steady stuff comes in, I think.
Yeah, the biggest change we've seen in some of the guidance for this is that instead of a track that's a little bit more west to east, it's allowing it to dig more south to north. That allows it to gain some latitude, climb closer to us, and bring us the heavier impacts from the storm here. So this will be up with what we saw in January, likely one of the two biggest storms that we'll have for this entire winter. Snowing heavily late Sunday night into Monday morning, and then Monday afternoon we'll start to taper things off. But when it comes to totals, it's another one that, boy, we're just going to be digging out right after we lost some of that snow. We're getting back closer to where we were in mid-January.
I can't imagine many folks are seeing this map right now and jumping up and down for joy. There's a lot of hazards that come with this, or we're back to like big snow banks, and not to mention the wind that comes along with it, the possibility of blizzard conditions at times. It's just going to be sort of a miserable late Sunday night and Monday. All the nor'easter things, really. And we didn't have that with the prior storm. It was literally just a fluff storm.
That's true.
We did not have the added factors that we going to have this time. So in some ways, this could even be more impactful for some folks.
Yeah, absolutely. More wave action, more chances for coastal flooding, very strong winds. The last storm was basically just an evenly spread fluffy snowfall, a lot of it, but didn't really have any of those other hazards. We did put a band. It's a little early, 2 days out for the jackpot zone, but we put one in around the South Shore down to the South Coast. It looks like that might be where we see the biggest totals overall, but 10 to 16 for much of eastern Massachusetts is a pretty solid snowstorm for us here. Heavy, wet snow more likely too, especially near the coastline. So this will not be as fluffy unless you're farther inland where you get a little bit of that fluff factor. Winds very gusty, so highlighting blizzard conditions possible near the coastline from Cape Ann down to Boston, the South Shore, Cape Cod and the islands. Still plenty of blowing and drifting farther inland, too.
Yeah, I think if you're planning, or if hopefully you don't need to, but if you have to be on the roads Monday morning or even Monday midday, these could be whiteout conditions at times. This really could be nasty stuff right along the coastline especially. So my guess is that a lot of you may be able to work from home, which would be fantastic.
That sounds nice.
Would not advise, yeah, not all of us. But yeah, this could really be, again, our last storm, we had the snow, but we did not have like the really low visibility and the wind gusts 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. So this could be one of those storms, one of those type of nor'easters.
Yeah, no wonder you see all the crews out there by the coast watching the waves batter the shoreline here. Here's a look at the wind projection, and heading into Sunday night, those winds start to increase out of the northeast, and as we head into Monday, that's where the storm makes its closest pass, and some really strong wind gusts here, especially right along the coastline. I don't know if we'll get this high, but it's possible to see some gusts over 70 miles per hour for the exposed areas of Cape Cod and the islands.
Yeah, definitely the peak of the storm looking like this is, again, Monday morning, Monday afternoon. You got those strong northeast winds. Then you can see the winds here starting to turn more northerly and northwesterly as the storm moves away from our area, but still a gusty evening as the snow tapers off. And of course, we do have some concern here for the high tide cycle. We're hitting a high tide cycle, but it's not as high again thankfully as some of the latter storms. So we're probably going to be mostly minor coastal flooding here, maybe some pockets of moderate.
Yeah, the timing is interesting because that one that's late Sunday night, we're not really into the teeth of the storm yet when it comes to the wind and that onshore fetch. And by the time we are on Monday afternoon, it's a lower of the high tide cycles. 9.1 requires almost a 3-foot surge or so to bring in flooding, which we very well could have. But to get to major flood levels, with a tide like that, it's probably not going to happen, but it's something to keep an eye on for sure. If you're right near the coastline, very high water levels. Situate, a look here, you've got the big tide late Sunday night, and then a lower one that comes in Monday afternoon during the heart of the storm. That's still going to be in range of coastal flooding, but probably not as high as some of the biggest storms that you remember.
Yeah, that Monday afternoon high tide, again, the winds will be switching more northerly, and even the Tuesday morning to follow, it could be some splashover, more so likely in the north, like Situate, Sandwich and the North Shore facing beaches.
Yep, and then if you're wondering, okay, give me some hope. Let me know something might change. Well, the difference between this and what we saw in January is obviously snow melts a lot faster this time of the year than it does in January. It's not going to be in the teens following the storm. It's going to be above freezing after the storm, and we have a chance for some rain on Thursday and Friday. So we'll see what happens as we head through later next week. It's not going to be as durable as what we saw with the last one, but our banks are going to be pretty high come Monday afternoon.
Aren't you Mr. Sunshine? Look at Tuesday, though, huh? Fantastic.
Hey, I'm an optimist. I've always been. I look at the bright side. I always have some positive spin. I'm not a doom and gloomer. So
I mean, we're almost to March, so any snow that falls this time of year is destined to go away fairly quickly. Obviously, we hope it doesn't go away too quickly. Then we're talking flooding.
It doesn't look like it with this pattern.
It does looks like a relatively snow melt, much like we've done the last couple weeks with the prior storm. So. Yeah, I mean, here we go again.
Here we go again. Get excited. But you know what? February's over next weekend, and there's only so much more we can go. But this is going to be a significant storm system with those blizzard conditions. We will keep you updated here on CBS News Boston from now throughout the upcoming weekend.